You are listening to the Critical Mass Radio Show, Orange County's business talk show, focused on exploring topics of interest to CEOs who are leading middle market companies. With your host, Richard Franzi.
Hello and welcome to Critical Mass Business Talk Show. You are listening to Orange County's longest running business talk show. And yes, I am your host, Rick Franzi. And boy, do we have a good show planned for you. Why do you ask? Because Chris Fitkin is our guest and he is a partner at MetaCTO. And Chris, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rick. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's go back in time. I'd like to know the origin story of MetaCTO. So what was going on? What was the inspiration and motivation for starting this company?
Yeah, I think I'm at my heart, I'm an entrepreneur, and it's not the first business that I've started. I really started my first web dev agency when I was 22, right out of college. Did a lot of learning early on then, and after a couple of years ended up moving back in-house and bounced around a lot of different industries, right? I worked in automotive, financial, banking, nonprofit, and social media, and kind of grew my skills as an engineering leader, product manager. And about 6 months ago, I got a call from an old engineering leader of mine, Garrett Fritz, probably the smartest engineering leader I've worked with in the last 20 years. And he says, "Chris, I'm ready to start my own business again, and I want to do it with you." And I'm like, you know what? The timing's perfect, and it's exactly what I was born to do and want to do. And here I am now.
Those relationships are valuable. It's nice to have someone that you know, like, and trust be a partner in business. That's super important. So pivots to the business. What have you guys learned since launching MetaCTO?
I think the biggest difference this go around, what we're doing differently, is more concrete long-term planning, right? We've always talked about, what does the business look like in 5 years, but getting specific about it and starting to invest in some of that plan now. And that's around networking, around marketing, talking to investors that hopefully we'll be working with in 3, 4, and 5 years, but beginning those conversations early and getting more clear about how to build towards that future.
Okay, so let's talk about what the hell MetaCTO is. So people might be curious. Interesting name, suggests something, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. So let's do this. What problems are you solving? Who are you helping? Like, what's the niche that you're focused on, at least in the early stages of the business? And then who characterize the type of client that gets the most value out of a working relationship with MetaCTO?
Yeah, thanks. So the name MetaCTO comes from our original plan to be a fractional CTO or outsourced CTO services, right? Because I've been in engineering as a head of engineering CTO at a lot of companies, startups all the way up to SMBs, 10 to 50 million a year in revenue. And the role that I fit into as an outsourced CTO is helping people understand technology, right? I work with business owners in those startup or small, medium businesses that have an idea for something that they want, and they understand that technology is the way to get there, but they don't really know how to implement that technology. And so I like to come in and work as a guide and explain technologies. What is a data warehouse? What is AI doing right now? Right? How do I manage different parts of the cloud and capabilities from Microsoft, Google, that they're pushing out these new services all the time? And how can a business incorporate those into the current services or the current products that they're developing and get more value in their business, either through improved efficiencies or by creating products, mobile apps, web apps, dashboards, and putting them out into the marketplace.
So you're an outsourced CTO then at MetaCTO?
It's a really easy way to say it. Yeah. If you want to invest in technology in your business and you don't have someone in-house, you can hire us as an outsourced CTO, and we'll help you come up with that plan.
Okay. And what size companies are you working with? You mentioned SMBs 10 to 50 million. Is that the sweet spot for Meta?
Yeah, we're kind of working in two different lanes right now. When we work with established businesses, a lot of them are inside that range right now, where you're an existing business and you've got a service line or you've got a product, but you're not really tech enabled, or you don't have a technical product or a technology product, you want to introduce one. But we're also working with VC funded startups, seed, pre-seed, that are trying to build and launch a whole company around an app or an idea.
Technology is fundamental. I don't know. You name a business that isn't leveraging technology, and I'll call you a liar. No, but I mean, everybody, right? What business doesn't have some layer of technology in them? And many times it's like electricity. It's the accounting systems. It's whatever. My experience is that many CEOs of SMBs look at the tech side of their business as an expense. As a CTO with integrity, how do you explain that it's also an investment, not purely an expense?
I mean, that's easy, right? So the tagline that we're using at MetaCTO is we help companies build, grow, and monetize their technology, right? And so at the end of the day, if you're investing in technology, it's because you want it to impact the economics of your business. And that's either through introducing a digital product where you're charging for downloads, subscriptions, access to an app, or it could be by changing the profitability of existing service lines. Can we automate work that your team's already doing? Can we take work that your team's doing and expose that to a broader audience so you can do the, build once, sell many, and find ways to make your existing work more profitable?
Is it your belief that, like a CFO, people know what the hell a CTO does?
Even the people that I work with sometimes still don't know what a CTO does.
Okay.
It's the responsibility to translate between business goals and technical solutions, right? If you've got a business goal of, I want to take my services and put it online, what technologies do I need? What cloud should we build in? Is there open source software that we can build on top of? Are there vendors that we need? Are there technical, legal, or regulatory compliances that we need to work within? And it's your CTO's job to know that, give you that advice, and help you build a solution that you can get to market the right price and fast enough.
Yeah, so there's always challenges with any strategic planning. One of the areas that I think presents an accelerated challenge for the CTO is the underlying technology is revving so quickly that you're sort of having to the enabling technology continues to evolve. So that's always a pleasant opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah. It's always learning and always working with something new in this space.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about AI in a minute. Not quite yet, ladies and gentlemen, because we're getting to it. But before we get there, I'm wondering if you might be able to share with my audience a piece of business advice that you find valuable that you can pay it forward with our audience today.
This business advice I actually get from product design. And one of the things that you talk about in product design is creating value for your users. When you're building an app or you're building a product, is trying to understand what value you're going to be delivering. Are you saving somebody's time? Are you helping them save money? Are you helping them find and make more money? Are you solving a problem like finding something that they need? And that focus on delivering value is something that I think should be applied to businesses more often, right? It helps you get away from the idea of deliverables and services and capabilities, and instead focus on how are you impacting the people that you're working with? Are you helping them and their companies grow and make more money? And framing your relationship around delivering value. It's going to make it easier to find new people to work with and easier to keep your customer relationships happy.
I felt like I was talking to a CMO for a minute there, not a CTO. Fine, right? I mean, messaging and finding the value and staying on point. I mean, that's really important, because that's ultimately why people make decisions to spend money, is for the value that they're going to derive, which will be greater than the investment that they're going to make, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I got to make sure I never get lost in, we're building mobile apps or iPhone apps. And so I could nerd out all day on the underlying technology, the languages, the cloud environment. But that's not what I'm selling, right? People don't want an app. They want something that's going to change their business, or they want to build something that they can sell to other people.
Yeah, there's this theory of the paradox of choice. It's like, when people are presented with too many options, they can't make a decision because there's too, and in the CTO world, in today's technology, there feels like to me, because you've named a number of very large tech companies that continue to offer more and more within their ecosystem. Wow, you can really pick the wrong horse to ride. Bad analogy, but without someone with your depth of knowledge, a novice could really make a bad early decision. And once you start going down that road, it's really hard to retract, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of, when you're building technology, selecting the right platform and the technologies and the engineers that you work with and your languages, those are decisions you're going to have to live with 2, 3, 5, 10 years down the road if you're still maintaining those projects and those platforms. And if you make some wrong choices, it can be really difficult and really expensive to maintain them long term.
Yeah, and the market can move past you too, because you can pick the wrong vendor, which could happen. All right. So I promised the audience earlier that we'd come around and dig your brain a little bit on artificial intelligence. So let's have that conversation now, Chris. Let's, from your perspective, set the context for how you see AI impacting your clients, what you do, the future. Just open up the lens a bit on AI for us, please.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So the most, popular AI tools right now are your LLMs. It's the ChatGPT, it's Google Gemini, it's anything hosted by Hugging Face or those types of platforms. And what's really cool about them is they're all exposed technology that, with a little bit of engineering, you can integrate into your business, your current processes, or products that you're creating and putting in front of your customers. And that's kind of the two lanes that we think about AI in. The first thing is, how do we use it, right? And internally, especially in software engineering, we're using it to write code. We've got different AI tools that are helping us write more code, better code faster. And that's reducing the cost to invest in and create new products. We can create software faster, improve time to market, especially when we're prototyping or building MVPs. We can really get those out really fast because of the new tools that we're using. That's speeding up our work. But the other part that we think about is, how do we take those technologies and integrate them into the products we're building, right? How do we create AI products for our customers, or how do we help customers integrate AI into their existing products? I'll give you a couple really cool examples that we have. One of them is we work with a laser dry fire bullet company. So imagine a bullet you put in a gun, but instead of a bullet coming out when you pull the trigger, it shoots a laser, like a laser pointer. So we worked with that company that does gun range training, and we built a companion app for their physical product that runs on an iPad. And when you do that, it turns into this gamified duck hunt like application. We're using AI and computer vision and augmented reality to expand the functionality of their existing products. We can take a physical product, layer in something with AI, and now they've got a digital product on top of it with a subscription revenue. And that's one really cool way to expand what you're doing with AI, introduce new products and increase the value of the products that you're delivering. Another one that's more text-based, it's going to sound more like Chat GPT, is we're working with a mental wellness company where we are ingesting a ton of data from your phone. So we'll read everything, every minute that you spend on what apps, how much you sleep, how many steps you're taking in a day, what your heart rate is from your watch. And we're taking that and combining it with mental wellness training models and creating individual health plans for meditation, reflection, should I go out and walk? And we're able to create really personalized custom plans specific to how you're using technology, what kind of data we have, and how you're responding to the different recommendations inside of the program. But we're using AI and ChatGPT and LLMs to be able to create those individual plans. So it's not just take a walk every day, but we're able to see when you do take a walk, how is that impacting actual health metrics like your sleep and your heart rate and your perceived mental wellness that you're recording inside your app.
It's a brave new world, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah.
It's exciting. So those are great examples. Thank you. I was getting lost in your answer. It was so interesting. Hopefully the audience is feeling the same way. One of the things I noticed in our background, our deep background research that gets you ready for this show, is that on your firm's website, you actually list the different services that you currently offer. And in addition to that, which is pretty common, you put a price range or a specific price. Talk to me. I think that's great, frankly. I applaud you doing that. How did that decision come about? What's been the effect of it? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I love our decision to put pricing on our website, and I think it's because of the years that I spent on the other side of that conversation. I told you I spent 15 years working in-house, building internal engineering teams and organizations at other companies, and I'd have to work with as a technology buyer where we'd have to bring in experts, consultants, platforms, tools. And when I work with companies like that, there is a big formal sales engineering process that you have to jump through to work with a lot of them, where you're meeting with their outside sales engineer, you're going through discovery calls, and you might not get pricing until your third, fourth, fifth phone call after you've invested 8 hours of your time with this company. And that quote could come back at $3,000, $30,000, or $300,000. I have no idea until I've spent all that time. I've been real frustrated by finding out the hard way after that process. And I want to start off on the right foot when I'm talking to new customers, new people that I'm going to want to work with. People want to be informed. They want to feel like they're in control, and being transparent with our pricing, whether it's day rate, project rate. I feel like it starts the relationship off a little more honestly, and a little more friendly.
Have you found that it also pre-qualifies, like the people that make it through and pay attention when they do engage with you? I mean, they sort of already know.
Yeah.
Stakes.
Yeah, it absolutely does, right? Building web apps and mobile apps, we're competing with a whole range of different possible solutions, all the way up to, at the high end, creating and hiring your own engineering team that could be hundreds of thousands or $1 million a year, all the way down to low code and no code platforms like Bubble, where you're paying $50 a month, right? So we've got to land somewhere in between those, and those are the right solutions for different people at different organizations. But by being upfront with our pricing, you're absolutely right. We're helping to pre-qualify and make sure if somebody just has an idea and they should be building it themselves on one of those really good low code platforms, maybe they try that first before talking to us.
Yeah, I think it's an outstanding strategic decision that you guys made, and I applaud it, and I encourage others. There's a lot of resistance that I've seen from companies that put pricing on their website. There's a million stories, or not a million, but there's a lot that people say why they shouldn't. I think in the end, the key, what you said, is you don't want to frustrate the prospect.
Yeah.
So good call. I'm a big fan. All right, so let's talk about that future.
Yeah.
What's the vision for the future?
Oh gosh, that's another great question. We're still so early on. I told you we tried to plan our what we're going to look like in 5 years, but I'm still spending a lot of the day-to-day in the beginning working with our clients, building out our marketing funnels, and we're doing a lot of application development right now, where I work as a fractional CTO, but 90% of what we do in an engagement is building an app, and that's the very beginning of a relationship, of a project. But long term, right, we want to be a solution that helps in every stage of technology implementation, from the development to the growth, and that could be marketing, scaling, and more integration into the business. And that's getting the economics around a product. How do you monetize it? How do you build those revenue streams? How do you sell it to either a consumer, or if you're a B2B, selling to other businesses, and really help companies with all the parts of that process, integrating technology fully into their company. And I think being more consulting and helping with all of those parts of the process is what we'll be doing more of in the future.
Outstanding. I've had more than one entrepreneur who has the way to get the nose under the tent of the prospect and solve a problem, and then earn the right to keep moving up the value chain of the problems that you're solving for them. And I think that's a great strategy, Chris. And so if someone would like to connect with you on LinkedIn or maybe online, learn more about MetaCTO, where do you say they go and how do they do that?
That's really easy. I'm on LinkedIn at Chris Fitkin. Feel free to reach out anytime. I'm always on there. And our website is metacto.com.
I told you at the top of the show, ladies and gentlemen, it was going to be fun and interesting. And Chris, you didn't disappoint. Thank you for your time today. I appreciate it.
Rick, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you, audience. You've been a part of Orange County's longest running business talk show. Chris's episode now joins our expanding catalog of over 1,500 episodes. If you're an Orange County entrepreneur, or maybe you're a nonprofit leader here in Orange County, and you too would like to share your story with our audience, it's pretty easy. If we're not connected on LinkedIn, I'm Rick, R-I-C, Franzi, F-R-A-N-Z-I. Send me a connection request. Let me know you'd like to be a future guest. If we're already connected on LinkedIn, send me a LinkedIn message or an email. And between Haley, our producer, since 2016, by the way, or myself, we'll be able to get you prepared to be a future guest on the show. No cost, no obligation, just an opportunity for you to share your story with our audience. And until the next time we all have a chance to be together here on Critical Mass Business Talk Show, I hope all of your decisions move your companies in a positive direction.